following program is intended for mature audiences.
Oh, my. Listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
He's a really good player, and now they're going to have their starting running back play quarterback for the first two games.
Well, hey,
and
the
running back is a sophomore.
The starting quarterback rushed for 2,000 yards, so it's not like a running quarterback's out of the question for these guys.
Oh no, of course not.
Yeah.
And if the QB is rushing for 2,000 yards, then I'm sure the running back's just happy to get game time.
Right.
He's just happy to have the ball.
Speaking of football, I wanted to bring that. I've been thinking about this all day. I've been watching Hard Knocks, and I just got to say that I am just so freaking happy to have the Los Angeles Rams back again.
On that note, Zach, I wanted to congratulate you on the first victory of the Los Angeles football Rams.
Yeah, the first stringers looked like shit, but football Rams.
It's just so right. I was just watching it, and they kept talking about L.A. and Los Angeles Rams, and I trying to think of a way to describe it. It's like I got something back from my childhood that you just would never think you would get back, if that makes any sense.
Thanks to all of this happening, I've had to endure the same exact conversation from both my dad and my uncle, which is, now we just need to send the Colts back to Baltimore.
God.
No.
Send the Colts back to Baltimore. Send the Chiefs back to Dallas.
The only one I would agree, I would love to see the Colts go back to Baltimore. The rest can stay where they are.
But what do you do with the Ravens?
Send them back to Cleveland.
What do you do with the Browns? Oh, I guess you could just dump the current Browns.
Eliminate them. Give Oklahoma City an expansion team. I don't know.
Dump the current Cleveland Browns into the river.
As hard as I try, and God knows I have made every effort to not be interested in that team, I can't help myself. But it's just like I might as well just give in and go with it, right?
But they're not.
No, I'm not leaving the Packers.
Uniforms.
No, the Packers are my number one team. But I'm just thinking, I can't quit the Browns. Hard as I try.
But they can't. But they're not even wearing the classic uniforms anymore.
I know.
What is left tying them to the actual Cleveland Browns of old?
Nothing, except the name. It's just the weirdest thing. I can't stop myself. It's like I even think about it. I go, what is wrong with you? What are you doing here? Look at these uniforms.
I'm sure.
Look at this team. Look, it's a disaster. Your team plays in Baltimore, but it's like, I don't know. There's a little voice man that goes, yeah, but they're still the Browns. I don't know. I just don't know what to do about it. But I'm just glad the Rams are back.
When the game started and you look at the scoreboard on the bottom and just a little LA and a Ram logo, it looked kind of weird. It's like, that's strange seeing that on a football broadcast. But there it was. LA, Rams in the Coliseum. Beautiful, gorgeous sun. I mean, you know what? As much as we hate these Rams uniforms, them first off, them going white on white at home is probably the best thing they could have done.
Yeah,
and having it in the sunlight, they don't look as bad as they did when they played in St. Louis, at least aesthetically.
Well, speaking of those uniforms, I was telling Mike this before you showed up. Paul Lucas put out a thing that hit my Facebook feed a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. And it said Rams will be going with their 1960s look for the preseason. I thought, cool. And so I read it, right? And he says they're going to be wearing white jerseys with a blue stripe on the shoulders and blue numbers, white pants, and a helmet with a blue helmet with a white ram horn. Now, of course, what my immediate thought was like, oh, my God, they're going to wear the blue and whites during the preseason. So I scramble, and I go, and I dig, and I'm trying to find any picture, any video of this game I can find, and I get there, and it's like, they're just wearing the St. Louis Road uniforms with the white pants. That's it.
Yeah, people mistook. They put a tweet out there that said, we wore all white at home during our fearsome foursome days, and that's what we're going to do now. And that's what we're going to do this season. So some people misinterpreted that to saying that they were wearing throwbacks. All they meant was we're going to wear our white on white at home, our current one.
Now, are they going to do that all year so that they don't have to wear them? That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best idea because the one thing that we talked about it a little bit last time, but the one thing you notice when you look at any of their branding so far is they're avoiding the gold. Millennium Gold as much as possible. And I mean, you watch that game for even just a minute, and you see the colors in the stands. 75% of the people are in blue and yellow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And most of the merchandise, it seems like. It seems like they've really leaned into the blue and yellow. You know, if it's not blue and white, it's blue and yellow. So I just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all know what they're doing. They're trying to. They have to keep the current branding as is in every place where they have to, and so they just say, "Well, we can use all this, but take out the gold."
Yeah, they're just trying to get. They're trying to go lose as much of that gold as they possibly can.
Right.
Which is fair, because honestly, that gold is the worst part of that look. It is the most anemic looking aspect of it.
I'm with Zach. It looks better outdoors, but it's still not great. I mean, I've never hated that uniform as much as a lot of people have, but it
surprise. Something looks better outdoors in the California sun than it did in the middle of a dome in fucking St. Louis.
But come on now, Zach. Tell me, we're just seeing just the blue and white stuff. Come on, tell me that doesn't look sharp. I mean, I know you love the gold, but I mean, like you see in the Los Angeles and just white, and the end zones looked really cool.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
they've done a very good job in terms of decorating the Coliseum and making it look. They've settled back into what they were pretty easily.
Yeah.
In terms of the fan base and the branding and the look of, hey, we're the Los Angeles Rams.
Almost like they shouldn't have left in the first place.
And the weird thing is, I mean, they're not playing it up in branding or anything, which is probably the smart thing. This is technically their 50th season in Los Angeles.
Oh.
So this should have been like a big milestone sort of thing. And it's not, because
I would have done it.
They left at 49.
I would have done it. I would have come up with a 50th season in Los Angeles patch.
Our first year back in 21 years, it's our 50th season.
No, it would have been a roundel, right? Would have had the Rams logo in the middle. In the top part of the roundel would have said 50 seasons in LA. Bottom part of the roundel, fuck you, St. Louis.
Yeah. For somebody that's lost a football team like I have, you think that I would have a little more sympathy towards St. Louis, but
it was never
if the Rams had moved to San Antonio, I might feel differently about it. But they're back where they belong. It's as simple as that.
And honestly, St. Louis, it was never theirs to begin with, right? They never should have left. I mean,
right.
Given the speed at which they built the Edward Jones Dome, there's no reason they couldn't have just caved and built that a few years earlier and kept the Cardinals.
Yep. Yeah.
And if they had done that, then the Cardinals would probably still be there, and they'd probably be in negotiations for a new stadium, and that would probably be better for St. Louis because they wouldn't have had that ridiculous lease, and everything would have been right in the world. But instead, they were stupid. And we had to go through this whole mess.
Well, hasn't St. Louis they've lost? I know at least 2 NFL teams at this point now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus, they lost out on the St. Louis Stallions expansion. Yeah. I don't know if I count that, but
might be time just to decide St. Louis isn't a football town and move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, the Rams being back is just awesome. I don't know why I'm so happy about it, but I am. I was doing that. Somebody linked to that playoff predictor thing we can go through and do every game.
Yeah.
And I was so excited I had the Rams going 11-5, and I went, wait a minute. Now this is just the style taking over here.
Realistic.
Yeah, I got to go back and take another look at this thing. But I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be solid, but I don't know about 11-5.
Well, if you listen to Jeff Fisher on Hard Knocks, they're not going fucking 7-9.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even going to go fucking 8-8.
I was stood up right there and I said, you know what? You're Jeff Fisher. You're Jeff Fisher. That's exactly what you do. You go 8-8, 7-9, 9-7. Who are you trying to kid? What do you think about him cutting that guy for bringing the girl to his room? I thought that was awesome.
That was pretty cutthroat. And the fun part is that same guy got cut by the Eagles yesterday too. So, but God, the problem, of course, all this fun stuff of having a football team, of like a real live in your town football team again. The only issue is, we got the Rams back. Great, we're happy. Except we got the Rams back.
Yeah, well.
And God, for it to be so exciting and everybody's ready, and then the opening play of the game is a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Dallas looks sharp in those blue jerseys, too, in that game.
Yeah. And then,
But hey,
the defense.
again, though, I want to say.
The Rams, and they kind of fucked it up, at least the first team did. That secondary is terrible. Jared Goff got his non-throwing shoulder a little bruised up. And then you had third-string quarterback have to lead and the receivers. The receivers, they can't catch.
But they won the game.
Yep.
But they ended up winning the game. Yeah. But Tony Romo didn't even play to start the game. They had
you can't get too
Prescott,
excited or too bent out of shape over the first preseason game anyway. I think the Rams are going to be okay. I think that they are, with a break or two their way, if they can get decent quarterback play out of either Keenum or Goff, they've got a shot at a wild card, I think. They've got a good
So
defense.
you mean Goff?
I don't know. Well, see, now I just said you can't put too much into it. I watched him in his first week of training camp. He couldn't even hold on to the damn ball. But
he also didn't know which direction the sun rose.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Is this a Vince Young situation?
Well, then again, now, while we're talking about
What's his
the Rams,
Wonderlic score?
Probably 5. But when I'm watching this, right, and I'm going, well, this is, the Rams going to be. Then I see who's their quarterback coach, Chris fucking Winkie.
Just Winkie, yeah.
And I went, oh my God! Now look, this was a guy that I had, I guess, the fortune to cover when he played baseball for the Syracuse Chiefs. He was in the Blue Jays system.
Really?
I don't know Chris Winkie. I don't think it never struck me as the sharpest tool in the shell. Let's put it that way.
Wasn't he the guy who played for Florida State for 10 years?
Yeah, he played baseball for the Chiefs until about, I want to say, 95 or 96. And then he went to college. Well, he was, 27, I think, when he was quarterback in Florida State?
Yeah, it was like Brandon Whedon at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, I should say.
Yeah.
That's always weird. I mean, it's like, yeah, you have eligibility, but you want to be a 26-year-old, like playing with all these 19-year-olds? Really?
But yeah, it's hard for me to get excited about the Rams when I go, well, okay, Jeff Fisher's your coach, who, even though he says he's not going to go 9-7 or 8-8, that's exactly what he's going to do. And then I see Chris Winkie as your quarterback's coach, and I'm going, okay. But I think the defense is going to be pretty good.
I just had when you said Chris Winkie, I had an Obi-Wan Kenobi moment. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Neither had I, and I saw it, and I thought, it can't be the same guy, right? But it is.
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
At least it's not Ryan Leaf.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it could have been quarterback coach Ryan Leaf. Oh, no.
Speaking of, some cutthroat stuff with that, what was his name, Deion Long that got cut?
Yeah.
How about when he called Nick Foles, the first part of the show? Hi, Nick, how are you? Oh, so you guys do some traveling? Oh, that's great. Oh, that's nice. But, they have this nice conversation going on. That, and he goes, I called just to let you know we're going to go ahead and release you.
Well, he had already asked for his release, too.
What's that?
Nick Foles had asked for his release before that.
I know, but still, it was just hey, I hope everything's going well. Oh, by the way, fuck you, you're fired. Come on.
Yeah, he's just trying to be a human.
Wouldn't you cut him first, and then, I don't know, it struck me as funny, but I knew that...
Foles, he still caught on with the Chiefs.
Yeah, Foles knew it was coming. I mean, there's no way he thought he was going to stick it out with that team, but still, it just struck me as funny.
Yeah.
But, it's just great to have... But, okay, one more question about the Rams, if you're watching Hard Knocks, too. Was I imagining things when I saw... I could swear a couple of the guys were wearing helmets with the old Rams, the yellow gold on the helmets, and the other guys, some guys had St. Louis gold.
No, it's the... I think it's just the way the light, the sunlight hits them. And I think there was a lot of people kind of confusing that on the scoreboard, too. Because the scoreboard is using... It's not completely yellow, but it's not completely Vegas gold either.
Yeah.
So when the light hits the scoreboard, people are like, "Oh, are they using the yellow graphics on the board?" It's like, well, it's kind of a mustard, and it's just depending on what way you want it to look.
Well, because
is it just like the marketing department being like, "Look, we can't use the athletic gold, so just." Here's this, and it can be whatever you want it to be.
From what one of the St. Louis fans was saying was that the graphics on the scoreboard are just the same ones they were using in St. Louis for the Color Rush game.
Okay.
So I don't know. I have no idea what they're doing.
I just know that I paused and rewound the scene 8 times last night going, is that a different colored helmet? And it kind of looked like it was, but it wasn't enough to definitively say yes or no with.
I mean, it's possible that somebody put like the wrong.
Yeah, I guess
graphics. They still have them for the throwbacks.
Well, all I know is that Paul Lucas, when I see him, if I ever do, I'm going to have to let him know that I'm very unhappy with him getting me all excited for the blue and white uniforms just to have him not be there. Because I thought, it's Paul Lucas. This has got to be legit, right? And no.
The other thing that I thought was nice in terms of nostalgia, and maybe we can get off the Rams thing after this, there was talk before the season that because of the Coliseum's policies as to what you can and can't bring into the stadium, one of the traditions some of the Rams fans have is wearing a watermelon on their head. Like cutting a hole in a watermelon and wearing it.
Yeah.
But because of some of the policies, they didn't think that they would be able to bring in a open watermelon because you can't bring in like your own food. But I guess somebody convinced them, it's like, well, we're not eating it. It's just a hat.
And it's not like you're selling your own watermelons, Coliseum. So
right.
Yeah, they're not cutting into watermelon sales or anything.
No.
Well,
but,
final question. So now we've had preseasons back. So despite the fact that we all claim every year we're not going to pay any attention, I'm fully invested at this point. What about you guys?
Oh, me too. I mean, I'm trying to learn a new football team. I got to watch every preseason game, right?
Yeah.
I got to know who's who and understand the position battles and what guy needs to start and what we need to do to fix things. And come on, Rams. Yeah. We're going to win the West. Fuck you, Seahawks. Fuck you, Cardinals.
Okay.
But you know who's still hilarious? The 49ers. Who's
their quarterback?
Blaine Gabbert versus Colin Kaepernick for your quarterback.
Well, good luck with that, fellas.
Okay, can I just say that everyone who had questions about Colin Kaepernick is hereby vindicated if he has to battle it out with Blaine Gabbert?
Chip Kelly at the helm of those 49ers, too.
Yeah, I think that's going to help. I don't think they're going to be any serious playoff threat, but I don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year. If he can get Kaepernick to perform in that offense, that could be something. I just don't think he can.
Yeah, they made their preseason debut against Brock Osweiler and the Texans, which looked really kind of stupid. Mark Sanchez made his debut as Broncos quarterback, which also looked dumb.
Could you just imagine you're a fan of a team that just came off a Super Bowl win, and you've got to go into the season with Mark Sanchez?
A Super Bowl win with Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And you had heir apparent all lined up, and then you didn't. You got stuck.
And now you're stuck with Mark Sanchez.
I can't think of a quarterback. I mean, who would be worse than that? Legitimately,
Colin Kaepernick.
I think I'd rather have Kaepernick at this point.
Okay, it's like one of those ask us anything questions. Whoever I say, I'm not going to be happy about it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't exactly a whole lot in the quarterback market for him this offseason, but still, that's pretty rough. They're still going to have the defense.
They drafted one of the promising rookies, though, didn't they? I can't remember.
Yeah, Paxton Lynch.
Yeah.
From Memphis.
Yeah, right. He's going to end up starting. I mean, Jesus, Sanchez. The thing that floors me with a guy like Mark Sanchez is that he still has a job in the National Football League.
You would have thought the butt fumble would have been career suicide.
I think it made his career. That's the only interesting thing about the guy, if you ask me.
He went to 2 consecutive AFC Championship games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess.
He sure did. I still think that was less the Sanchez and more the brilliant coaching of one Rex Ryan.
Olympics.
I think the place to start and end, because it's the thing. Michael Phelps set records, Olympic records for this Olympics, set modern Olympic records. He also broke a overall Olympic record, a 2,100-year-old record set by Leonidas of Rhodes.
He broke a record that goes back to the days when they gave you a twig as your medal in the Olympics.
Exactly.
Like an olive branch or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back in, let's see, where's the number here?
Back in the year 24.
Back in 152 BC.
So this record was older than Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Leonidas Rhodes, he won 3 gold medals in 4 consecutive Olympic Games to set his individual record at 12. He won medals in the stadium sprint, which is about 200 meters. The Diolis sprint, twice the length of the stadium, so just up and back. And then the Hoplitodromos, an up and back run where the runners are wearing a helmet and armor and a shield.
See, they need to bring that back.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch that too.
He had the record for most individual gold medals, not like relays or anything. Individual gold medals, as far as all these historians can tell. And Michael Phelps broke that record too, along with getting 23 gold medals in his career.
Wow.
28 overall, I think.
Could they reach Leonidas of Rhodes for comment on his record finally being broken?
No, he could not be reached. But
he probably would have medaled in stoning lepers at the city gates too, but the judges ripped him off.
But basically, the question is, as some people have put it, is Michael Phelps the greatest athlete of all time?
No.
No?
I wouldn't. Okay, I think athlete of all time might be a bit. That's a bit of a murky question, but is he the best? Is he the greatest Olympian of all time? Absolutely.
That I agree with. That's exactly how I would put it. He's an amazing swimmer. I mean, what's this? How many Olympics has he been in now? What, 3 or 4?
This is his fourth.
And he's racked up, 23 golds?
23 golds, 28 total medals.
Wow. Yeah.
And you know what? You know what's absolutely amazing about that is that he's been in 4 Olympics. He didn't medal during his first run.
Really?
No, he won like a bronze or something.
Oh, okay. Sorry. He didn't get a gold in his first run.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think
that I did not know.
So it's 23 Olympics. It's 23 gold medals in essentially 3 Olympics.
Wow. And he was probably stoned for at least half of those, which is pretty impressive in its own right.
Yeah. No,
he's something else. I'm with Mike. I'd say the greatest Olympian ever, but I can't go with greatest athlete.
Now, of course, the hot take machine that is Fox Sports 1. I'm
so sad that we have to call it that now. I had such high hopes for that network.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp's new show debuts in September, I think.
They're pairing him. Oh my God!
They're pairing Skip Bayless with Shannon Sharp.
Oh my! That is going to be that. I don't use this term lightly. That's going to be a holocaust of television.
But they had some guy who was filling in for Colin Cowherd. He's like their up-and-coming hot take guy that they're giving like a radio show also. I think his name's Nick
has
Wright.
No filter and just blurts stupid shit out.
Yeah, so like the thing that they put up on their Facebook page, they put a clip of the show, and his hot take was Michael Phelps isn't the greatest Olympian of all time. Because he said that there is no such thing as the greatest Olympian of all time. He said that
I
Michael
thought
Phelps
he was going to go to bat for Leonidas of Rhodes and be like, no.
His argument is that Phelps is the greatest swimmer of all time, but not the greatest because you can't. He doesn't want people cross-referencing disciplines, and because there's so many more. Michael Phelps has racked up a bunch of gold medals because there's so many more swimming disciplines than there are of other things.
How hard it is to be that consistently good at swimming?
Yeah.
I mean, again, I it's not the most exciting sport in the world to watch, to me at least, but to be that fast at swimming for that many years, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's just simply amazing. I don't know. I think he's the greatest Olympian of all time, and I don't like whoever this guy was telling me that I can't think that.
Yeah, I think so too. It's in terms of just winning medals. Yeah, there's no one that will ever catch him. Probably. Probably the only person that could is swimming right now. Katie Ledecky on the women's side. She's just destroying everyone she faces.
It's a Wayne Gretzky type situation where he doesn't just have the record, but he is so far ahead of anyone else that anyone else beating him is inconceivable.
Yeah, sometimes like John Madden says about quarterbacks or whatever on NFL Films sometimes. Sometimes you just got to set aside the debate and go, yes, this guy's the greatest of all time. And I think that's the case with Michael Phelps in the Olympics. He's the greatest Olympian of all time. I don't know how you can argue otherwise.
NBC put up a graphic the other night where they took Michael Phelps' medal count out of the United States and said if Michael Phelps were his own country, he would have the third most swimming medals of all time.
Really?
Yeah. It was the United States, and then I think Japan, and then
the most serene republic of Michael Phelps.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, his reign of success is insane. And the thing is, I mean, you watch him swim in these Olympics, and I kept saying there's no way he can retire because he's still so much better than everybody else.
How old is he now? Do you know?
31.
He can still make a go of it at 35.
He could, but people are pointing out, he already has the record by a large margin, and he just had a kid, so he wants to spend time with his son,
that's fair.
Whose legitimate God-given name is Boomer.
I'm cool with that.
That's his, written name is Boomer, not a nickname. That's what it says on his birth certificate.
I think that's
unfortunate.
Okay. I like it.
That's
Kid's going to be rich. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's. I mean, there's almost nothing to say about it because it's just you don't know what to say other than he's just simply one of the greatest things I've ever seen in sports.
Yeah,
in terms of
using a Gretzky reference again. What do you say about the year he put up 203 points or whatever it was?
Right. The numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah. What do you say about that? I mean, what can you add to that? You really can't. It's just, geez.
And
now it wasn't. Now these games weren't all roses for American swimmers. Wasn't there an American swimmer who was robbed?
Yeah, Ryan Lochte got robbed at gunpoint the other night.
But I guess a certain announcing team said that he actually won a race that he didn't, so he has that going for him.
What certain announcing team was that? Oh, the Canadian.
Oh, I didn't want to bring up that part of it.
Elliot Friedman, who's actually on the Hockey Night in Canada panel, is doing the swimming announcing for some reason. But the entire, I forget what race it was, but one of these races, he mixed up which one was Lochte and which one was Phelps at some point during the race. And so he thought Ryan Lochte beat Michael Phelps by a full body length.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even the case.
And then I think the best part was he was so excited when he thought Lochte was winning. Then when he realized his mistake, he just went, "Yeah, I had the lanes wrong. Phelps won." Just that was his retraction. No, not much of anything else.
Yeah,
look, I'm just saying they need to give it to Don Cherry. Let Don Cherry do the swimming.
I'm serious. How awesome would that be?
Just be good, boy.
How awesome would that be? Come on. They should have a stipulation in sports that you get to pick either a game or a team or whatever where Don Cherry gets to call it no matter what it is. Just that the Don Cherry corollary will call it. And he just gets to call a sport. Say once a week we get to pick an NFL game that Don Cherry calls. That would be great.
Oh, that would be amazing.
But
did we talk about the diving pool last week?
Yes, about how it was green.
Okay, we did talk about that then.
No,
okay.
We didn't. We just mentioned that we just talked about that it was green, but then they tried to fix it and it got worse, I think, or the chemicals were burning the eyes of the competitors.
Yeah, they then overcorrected and put too much chlorine in it, and then they tried to blame the contractor for getting the wrong filter or the wrong chemicals.
Weren't they telling the divers, don't let it get in your mouth?
God. Well, did you see that green shit? I wouldn't have dove into that. I've been forget it. There's no way I'm not going in that water.
Yeah. I mean, you either do that or you forfeit the Olympics.
I don't know. I mean, when you're looking at a lake that makes Lake Erie look clean or a pool that makes Lake Erie look clean by comparison, I'm not going into that thing.
Yeah.
I saw a guy got a perfect zero on a dive. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, the gold medalist from 2012 on the springboard, this Russian guy, just did a full belly flop and got an actual zero.
So he's probably going to be executed when he returns home to Mother Russia.
Oh, no doubt about it. It was pretty funny to watch, though. He looked good, and all of a sudden he just hit the water. It went from looking like an Olympic diver to looking like one of us trying to do that move. It was pretty funny.
Now, the thing that I wanted to bring up to Zach, which I think has to be the story of the Olympics, Hope Solo's kind of a sore loser, isn't she?
Oh, Hope Solo's a bitch.
Ooh, there was a lot of people saying not a lot of nice things about Hope Solo over the past
Like,
week or so.
I've never liked her. Like, I mean, she's obviously, very talented, but she's just not a nice lady.
No.
I mean,
They've
between
hated her for a while now.
I mean, between the stuff between the stuff she was saying before the Olympics and then getting every time she kicked the ball, Zika chanted at her, and then so what happened was in the quarterfinals, the United States women's soccer team lost in the quarterfinal for the first time ever in the Olympics. For the first time ever, they're not even in the gold medal match, which is insane. So they're not even playing for a medal.
Canada is, though.
Go Canada!
Right. Well, and the team that beat the United States beat Brazil in the semifinal today. And Sweden is coached by Pia Sundhage, who was
Pete Carroll.
Right, Pete Carroll. She looks exactly like Pete Carroll. Anyway, she was the head coach of the United States for a long time.
She looks exactly like Pete Carroll?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's probably not a good thing, is it?
No. It's an unfortunate situation.
And so she had coached the United States for a long time, and she knows all the players and how they play and their personalities and all that sort of thing. But since she went back to her native Sweden to become the head coach of their women's team, the United States is 0-2 against Sweden. So it's not like she doesn't know what she's doing. But what they do is instead of attacking and try to outscore the U.S., they sit back and they kind of play a trap for soccer. They play back. They try to force you to make mistakes.
There's a way to make soccer more boring.
Yeah,
you wouldn't think so.
and so the kind of falling back and trying to clog up everything, didn't sit well with Miss Hope Solo. So she decided to call the Swedes cowards and that they weren't trying to play the game as it should have been played.
And then on top of that, apparently there were some Americans who are calling for a boycott of IKEA.
Oh, really?
That's blast.
Yes.
The Swedish meatballs are too good, man.
Really? I mean, we're going to really make that stretch. We're going to go from okay. All right.
Well,
it's freedom fries. They're no longer Swedish meatballs. They're freedom.
They're
balls.
freedom balls.
Free balls.
Free balling it.
Yeah.
God.
I don't know.
I love this country. It just never ceases to disappoint me. Oh, well.
Let's see. What else was going wrong over there?
You have organizers who are quitting because there's not enough food.
God.
God damn it, Brazil. Jesus. Everything about this, from the fact that the president of the country wasn't even there for the opening ceremonies because she's being indicted for fraud and impeached.
Yeah.
It's just...
Has anyone died?
No.
Well, that's good. I think that...
Although,
when you're
breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking news. Canada's Derek Druin has just won gold in high jump.
All right. Go Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Our home and native land. Did anyone see, by the way, speaking of countries winning gold, did anyone see Kazakhstan actually win a gold in swimming?
Really?
Really?
Yeah, they did.
Where was I?
I forget. I can't remember the event because, honestly, all these swimming events blur into one for me. Yeah. But I distinctly remember he was in lane 1, so you figure this guy's got no shot. And then he ends up winning. And I admit this makes me a bad person. I immediately pulled up YouTube on my phone and pulled up the Kazakhstani national anthem from Borat.
That happened once.
I know.
Was it at the Olympics last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was at the 2012 Olympics. Somebody played the Borat Kazakhstan anthem for Kazakhstan. And obviously that didn't go over well.
Oh, man.
It's the same way China at the beginning of these Olympics. They were complaining because the flags they were raising for China were wrong.
Oh?
They weren't terribly wrong, but you know how the flag of China is, right? Big red rectangle with the star and the 4 stars around it.
It's kind of a cool looking flag, I always thought.
What it does is the big star up in the top left is for the Communist Party, and all the 4 little stars, they have one point that's pointing directly at the center of the star to symbolize that they're all together or whatever. The flags that they were using for the medal ceremonies, all the stars were straight, so they didn't have the points pointing back into the star.
So essentially, they're pitching a bitch over something that only uniform dorks like us would notice if this were a jersey or something.
Well, yeah, but it's national symbols. They have meanings.
I understand. Yeah.
Could you imagine if they used a United States flag without the right number of stars or stripes?
Well, unless it was way off by 10 or 15 stars, would you even notice? Would be my.
It ought to be 49 stars because it'll be a cold day in hell when I recognize Missouri.
It should be 51.
I feel the same way about Texas. Oh well.
So
who's playing Olympic basketball here? I'm on the NBC Olympics Experience. Let's see, what channel is that?
Now, to all of our American fans who are bummed out that the women's soccer team failed to medal, look, Team USA basketball is just going to steamroll over everyone. So don't worry, guys. You're good.
They should, but they decided to take the last 3 games off and just win by as little as they need to.
I don't know. They beat Japan by 46.
Well, yeah, but
if that's taking a night off, I'd hate to think what they're doing when they're.
They beat France by 3. They beat Serbia by 3, I think, also.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that.
Look, you can't count Serbia out when it comes to exterminating the opposition. Serbia is always going to be right there.
We have France-Canada coming up here in women's basketball coming up shortly here. Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's the same kind of thing we talked about last week. I lose track of some of these Summer Olympic things. I watch them and they're kind of neat, but some of them don't really stick in my mind.
We need to, my girlfriend's been watching this thing like wall to wall. She'd probably be the best person to talk about it.
Yeah. There's things like, Michael Phelps obviously stands out. Katie Ledecky and the way she won the 800-meter swim by 11 fucking seconds.
Wow, really?
They showed when you see the race, she's touching the wall. There's no one else in the frame.
Wow.
She has to sit there and wait for everyone to finish before she can get out of the pool.
I don't want to cast disparaging accusations, but they got to drug test that, right? 11 seconds.
Well, it's one of those things where she's been this good for a while. I guess in the last 3 years, she's taken 10 seconds off the world record of that specific event.
10 seconds?
Yeah.
God, because usually a world record, you're talking 100th of a second, something like. It's so incremental in the way they break these records that to take 10 seconds off in a period less than 50 years is pretty amazing.
I guess what they say, obviously I don't know, but the longer the race is, the better she is. She just has insane endurance.
Wow.
I guess in the World Championships, they actually swim a 1,500 meter that they don't swim in the Olympics, and she dominates that one too.
Wow.
So, and she's only 19. So, that's what I said earlier. She could be like the female version of Michael Phelps.
Well, swimming's not terribly exciting to watch, but anybody that's been in a swimming pool and tried to swim 4 or 5 laps knows how difficult it is to do what these guys do.
Leonidas of Rhodes will always be number 1 in my heart.
Me too. I want to get his throwback jersey.
I was surprised that they even
he was wearing it was 15 BC in the Olympics, but he was wearing his 35 BC gear, which was really cool.
Does that mean he was more naked than normal?
That was for the event when he was wearing the helmets.
Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
We talked about Hard Knocks earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess there's something to look forward to on tonight's edition, Greg.
I've heard about this.
Defensive end for the Rams, William Hayes. Hayes was really excited for the team to relocate to Los Angeles because, quote, he knew they would be closer to mermaids.
Are you freaking serious?
What?
Will Hayes absolutely believes and is totally convinced that there are mermaids and they do exist. He also visited his stance on dinosaurs, saying, I just can't fathom a T-Rex walking around here, something that man ain't never seen.
Are you freaking serious?
What?
Mermaids exist, dinosaurs do not.
Dinosaurs are fake.
Oh, excuse me, I forgot.
I can't fathom a T-Rex walking around here.
Yeah.
Hold on, I didn't see this at the bottom, but there's another link that says he's a dinosaur truther. Let me see if I can get more.
Why is that a thing?
This is from December of last year. ESPN interviewed Rams defensive end William Hayes. Hayes was quoted saying, "No, I don't believe dinosaurs existed, not even a little bit. With these bones, it's crazy because man has never seen a dinosaur. We can agree on that, right? But we know exactly how to put these bones together. I believe there is more of a chance you will find a mermaid than you will a dinosaur because we find different species in the water all the time.
Okay.
I don't understand how Chris Long just believes in dinosaurs. That's just crazy to me. We know they died. We know what a T-Rex eats. That don't sound crazy to you? We've never seen a dinosaur, but we know exactly where every single rib and which rib goes where. That's crazy to me.
It's called science, you moron!
Not to mention, that sounds crazy to you, but a fucking half woman, half fish that you've never seen, that seems more reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. And I had the Rams going 11-5 this year. Okay.
Well, he doesn't have to be smart. He's a defensive end.
This is
Go
true.
tackle the quarterback. Run forward. The more I learn about the Rams, though, they're not the most smart bunch that I've ever seen. Because I forgot this at the end of the show. Last week they had Goff riding in the Goodyear blimp with receiver Farrell Cooper.
Yeah.
And because Goff had already been asked the where does the sun rise and set question. Well, earlier, of course, he was told the smart answer. And he ran with it. Like one of his linemen said, "Hey, Jared, you know the sun doesn't actually rise, right? The earth just rotates." And so Jared was like, "Oh my God, you're right. Hey, coach, the sun doesn't rise. The earth just spins."
Yeah.
And Jeff Fisher's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
But he's going to go. He's not going to go 8-8 with this bunch, no sir.
No. And then at the end of the show, when they're in the blimp, Goff had asked Cooper if he knew where the sun rose and set, and the receiver said, "In the air." As one of the brilliant Deadspin commenters says, you can take the Rams out of Missouri, but you can't take the Missouri out of the Rams. Oh, anyway. Some logo and uniform news. The Las Vegas NHL franchise reportedly had some finalists for its team name.
Had
Until there was terrible reaction to them and they pulled them. But it was reported by our own sportslogos.net that from legitimate team sources that the names being considered were Nighthawks, Desert Hawks, or Red Hawks.
God.
Now, of course, the obvious backlash to it is there's already the Blackhawks, and we just call them the Hawks most of the time. So this isn't going to fly. And apparently a lot of the fans just thought it was kind of dumb. I thought Nighthawks could have worked in a couple different ways, but, you know.
I thought the immediate backlash was it's a shitty name.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, is that they weren't great names. So with, you know, without the ability to use any of the night names they wanted, and now that they've turned down their supposed finalists, who the hell knows what this team's supposed to be called?
I still think it's going to end up being something Knights.
What was it, the one you told? Oh, the Neon Knights was the one you brought up.
Neon Knights was.
I like
one that
Neon
I had heard.
Knights.
That
Yeah.
I can live with, yeah. But Nighthawks, I don't know if Nighthawks. It's like they sat down and said, "What is the most boring, ridiculous name we could come up with for this team?" And somebody went Nighthawks. I'm like, "Okay, there you go. That's it."
Well, the idea would be that they get the night part still in the name in a way, and they could throw back to the Nighthawk stealth jet.
Yeah, but again, these are like connections that most people aren't going to make.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah. I was telling Mike earlier, when you take the gambling options off the table, you're really kind of limited at that point with the Las Vegas team. Come up with something with like the desert or the strip or something. You can still do something that's native to Las Vegas without having a gambling connotation, right? Yeah, when I heard Nighthawks, all of a sudden Aces sounded like the best thing I'd ever heard. I was going to fully embrace the Ace. I was going to, if it was going to be Nighthawks, I was going to fully embrace the Ace, man.
We're not going to give that name the dignity.
Just breaks the Ace.
Zach had a good point, which is Nighthawk sounds promising, but he needs to see it on a belt buckle before he can make any final decisions.
Into the world of college football uniforms, normally a dark and dismal place that we never want to go. But in another example of the military academies just knocking it out of the park with that awesome uniform element, the Air Force football team will wear these ridiculously awesome helmets. They're like the old Air Force jets with the shark.
Oh wow!
Painting on them, with the eyes and the mouth with the teeth on the side of it. They put like metal paneling,
the rivets and everything. Yeah.
Well,
that's kind of cool. Not as cool as their Thunderbirds helmets they were a few years ago, but those are all right.
I like them. Again, not as good as some of their past ones, but I still dig it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. You know what would be really cool is if they had somehow found a way to incorporate the number, like the player's number, like the way the planes. Oh, wait a minute! What the hell here? Commercials playing there, but like to incorporate the numbers, like the plane numbers had on the helmet. That would look kind of cool too.
Oh yeah.
That's all right though. I like that. Yeah.
And last little bit of uniform things. Now, Greg, you are a future teller, my friend.
Am I?
Do you remember one of your answers from the AMA where somebody asked us, as a kid, what would have been our perfect uniform?
Oh no!
And what was something you said?
I said denim.
Take a look at the Greensboro Grasshoppers. Will be known as the Jeansboro Grasshoppers for one night.
I love minor league baseball.
That's it.
That's what you wanted, right? Well, there you go.
Oh my God!
You get your dream. You should contact them and order a pair.
Now that you can see this in practical application, folks, it's easy to see why I thought this was cool when I was 11 years old and maybe not so much today. Those are almost too good. I mean, they look like they're wearing a pair of jeans.
Exactly. Like I had to look at it a couple times because especially with the belt that they're wearing, it's like, no, those are actual jeans, right? No, they got the really little Rawlings logo in the back pocket there. And you see the lines where the baseball pockets are just above the back pockets.
Is that it?
Oh, Mike, didn't you go to?
Mike, you had stories from
Tampa Comic-Con. It was a pretty fun experience. Missed out on my chance to see the guy who played Emperor Palpatine. The line was too long.
Oh,
Ian McDermott, no.
Yeah, it was a pretty long line. But I did want to mention this because you had mentioned it before, Greg, about how you see a lot of people in Florida who wear clothing that they probably shouldn't wear.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seemed like every woman under the age of like 25 at this thing was doing a Harley Quinn cosplay.
Okay.
Of course.
2 of them could actually pull it off.
And the rest of them were, I'm going to say, maybe a couple sizes too big for clothes that were a couple sizes too small?
Around that, yeah. So It's like, look, I understand cosplay. For a lot of people, it's fun. And I'm not saying can't have fun, do what you want, have a good time, but try to be self-conscious of the world around you. And that's all I want to say on that.
Speaking of you waiting in line for Emperor Palpatine, did you see the Rogue One trailer?
No, I haven't.
Have we
seen
got an official trailer out at this point?
Oh yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
I haven't seen the official full trailer yet.
It hits all the buttons. It hits everything that you want it to hit.
I'm going to check it out as soon as we're done here. And with that, I think we're going to call it a night. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. You can go to the website and check out all the episodes, basicallyasportshow.com. Subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and YouTube, and find us on Facebook. We will see you next time.
Catch you later, guys.
Later.